I think in the Mekong River, when I go down to the Mekong River, I saw many people who use Mekong River for life. It's very bad situation in Mekong River now.
People should pay more concern, pay more attention about how to protect the Mekong River. Mekong River is lower and lower.
In March 2010, the water reached its lowest level for 50 years. Could the major cause be found in man's attempt to conquer nature? To tame the rapids and roar of the Mekong with a cascade of dams? The Mekong, one of the great rivers of the world, coursing through 6 countries. From its source high in the Himalayas of Tibet, 4,900 kilometers long, its journey ends in the Mekong Delta of Vietnam. Rich in fisheries, wildlife, dolphins, and extraordinary biodiversity. This is the Amazon of Southeast Asia.
In Mekong River, give everything. Food, give culture, give for life. When you don't have food, you can get food from Mekong River, vegetable, herb. Everything, and it's really important for the people. Mekong River same matter. I think Mekong River is matter.
But dark clouds are gathering. A storm of controversy hangs over the future of this great river. Black clouds beckon. The Mekong is moving towards a huge dam building program. Will the river become devastated by dams? A cascade of dams and reservoirs are being planned in the boardrooms of Chinese hydropower corporations, Thai companies and other developers which could change the Mekong forever. To Chinese, Thai and Malaysian companies, development banks, technocrats and business lobbies, the Mekong is the dream of hydropower potential for an energy-hungry region. But to the fishermen, small farmers, millions of villagers along the Mekong, this taming of the raging torrents with a cascade of dams is not a dream. This developer's dream is a fisherman's nightmare. 65 million people in this region are dependent for food and livelihood on a healthy Mekong that long sustained their ancestors. If the fast-flowing currents are transformed into still reservoirs, the Mekong will be transformed into a devastated ecosystem.
Because their life is depend on the Mekong River, and it's not only affect to Lao people, and not only in Vientiane, it's central of Laos and up to North Laos is depend on fish from Mekong.
Kuti Roykeo is a teacher and environmental activist in Chiang Khong from the Thai side of the Mekong. He has educated 55 communities in a lively campaign to save the Mekong.
Before have upper in Mekong River have dam in China, have problem, many problem.
The gigantic Xayaburi Dam, at 292 meters high, is the world's tallest high-arch dam, nearly as high as the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Its vast reservoir covers an area of 190 square kilometers.
operation of these dams or the stations doesn't affect the water flow of the Mekong River, so it does not affect the water flow of Mekong.
Australian Mekong specialist Philip Hirsch has a very different assessment of these dams.
The Xayaburi Dam and the Xayaburi Dam are of a quite different order. These are dams that are going to fundamentally and permanently affect the flow, the hydrological regime of the Mekong, all the way through the system.
Thai teacher Kuti points out China has not changed its policy at all.
คิดถึงแม่น้ำโขงนะครับส่งจิตใจหากันวันไหนถ้ายังไม่มีการแก้ปัญหาเราจะกลับมาอีกใช่ไหมครับพี่น้อง
China still plans to build 4 more dams without any consultation with the communities that live downstream. The headlong rush of hydropower plans to build ever more dams continues. China has scheduled a total of 8 dams on the upper Mekong. On the lower Mekong, 11 more dams are being promoted in Laos and Cambodia.
I would really propose to slow down the pace and take a kind of time out and look at the feasibility of the whole process and also consider alternative developments.
How is it possible that a company could even consider erecting a dam only a few kilometers away from the rapturous beauty of the Khon waterfall in Laos? Sipandon district of Laos is known as 4,000 Islands, a pristine wonder of nature. It is central to the development of Laos as an eco-tourism leader in the region. Malaysian company Megafirst plans to build a dam right here.
Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand depend on Husahong because the fish migrate from downstream to upstream and then upstream to downstream. So if they block this channel, I'm not sure if we will get fish to eat. The food security, the people's life and people's future depend on Husahong.
The Lao government isn't conducting any studies regarding this project. The Lao government has to rely purely on the information that's provided by the company, which essentially means that they've got the fox guarding the hen house.
The Don Sahong Dam project and 2 more dams across the border in Cambodia, in Stung Treng and Sambor, would be the final blow to the survival of Mekong's dolphin population.
This is the last remaining habitat of the Irrawaddy dolphin in the Mekong. So a dam anywhere on the Mekong would have probably a devastating effect on the dolphins. The Irrawaddy dolphin has long been almost a sacred animal in Cambodia, certainly a revered animal in Cambodia.
Cambodian people totally depend on fishery, as I mentioned, in terms of consumption rate, in terms of protein intake. So it's worth about 250 million US dollar at the landing site. And this value contribute to like 8 to 12% of the total GDP of Cambodia. It's very high. And accounting for more than 30% of the primary production is agriculture. So fisheries sector is very important in terms of nutrition, in terms of economic, in terms of employment, and in terms of biodiversity, and also in terms of tourism.
People in Cambodia, the economic systems here, in particular the agriculture, is adapted to a river that floods nearly every year. The floods bring the water that's necessary to irrigate the rice fields. The floods also bring the sediments and nutrients that are essential to maintaining the fertility of the soil. So if somehow this cycle of flooding is somehow controlled or interrupted or even modified to a relatively small degree, that could potentially have enormous impacts on agricultural systems, food security in Cambodia. Fishery of the Mekong, which we've discussed as being the most productive and important in the world, largely depends on that flood pulse that comes every year. As you know, there's this remarkable phenomenon where the river that connects Tonle Sap, the great Cambodian lake, with the Mekong, reverses its flow every year. When the Mekong is high, water flows into Tonle Sap. The area of the lake at Tonle Sap expands 4 or 5 times. The fish are able to go out into the flooded forest to breed and to feed. This essentially becomes an incredibly productive nursery for the fisheries. The fish then come back down the river into the Mekong and migrate up the river as far as Thailand.
You know, according to that study, there are 1,000 fish species along the Mekong, and majority of the fish species they need to migrate in order to give birth of the new fish, you know, from the upper stream.
Any modification of the hydrology of the Mekong puts this incredible system at risk.
And at risk is the greatest inland fisheries in the world, which is catching around 3.9 million tons of fish a year, valued at nearly $3 billion.
This is a basin which has the largest inland fishery in the world and the second most diverse after the Amazon. So the fisheries issue is the #1 issue that has to be solved, and the onus for demonstrating that that can be solved rests with the promoter of these projects.
The Xayaburi Dam is highly significant. It's the first dam, if it goes ahead, that will be built on the Mekong mainstream outside of China. It's significant in its own right. The World Wildlife Fund for Nature recently issued a report saying that the giant catfish, the iconic species of the Mekong, will go extinct if Xayaburi and nearby dams go ahead. In that section of the river, 41 other species are likely to go extinct, because if the Xayaburi Dam goes ahead, it just opens, excuse the pun, it opens the floodgates for the rest of the Mekong mainstream dams to go ahead. In effect, once you've got Xayaburi, you've got the lot.
I think Xayaburi Dam is a dangerous building for the people in Mekong River. Everybody want to money from Mekong River, make dam for electric. Easy for make money, easy.
This $3.8 billion project for the Xayaburi Dam is funded by the 4 biggest Thai banks. 95% of the electricity will be sold to Thailand. The dam builder, Bangkok's Chokan Chang Corporation, plans to make a handsome profit. The opposition is growing among the citizens of the Mekong. They demand the dam builders respect the international nature of this river and the rights of the citizens of the Mekong, shared by 6 nations.
I think the development have different dimensions. If you're talking about infrastructure development, you could see, you know, the building of bridge, dam, and things like that. But also, there are many called social development, you know, to build the livelihood of the people, in particular the poor and vulnerable groups. You have to think about the development for whom. It is important for the developer or the government to think development for whom. Who will be benefit from the development? The question needs to be answered carefully.
I think that the more important point is not how much money we're going to gain or lose by these projects, but who is going to gain and who is going to lose. The people that are going to lose are generally poor people, rural people, people that the Lao government or governments in the region, international organizations are spending a lot of time trying to alleviate poverty, trying to reduce poverty of the country. And it's those people that are at the edge of poverty are the ones that are going to be impacted.
If all of them, 3 of them say that no more dam, I think Cambodia are really happy. Our government really happy with that. And we try to find out another way to get the power, to get the energy for our people.
Developed economy, there is a need of energy. However, there are different types of energy that would generate it aside from the dam. And for example, like biogas, biomass, they are decentralized, we call decentralized energy system.
Former Senator Dr. Kraisak Chunavan served as chairman of a parliamentary committee on good parliamentary governance, which investigated the environmental impact of dams on the Mekong.
Where they're going to build the dam in Xayaburi, the Mekong River, will be devastating to the rest of the countries, from Laos down to Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam.
18 million people live in the very fertile Mekong Delta.
I think Vietnam in this case has a very, very big stake. We have to consider how important the Mekong Delta is for the economy of the whole country. Also in terms of biodiversity, the Mekong Delta is where there is the most number of fish species compared to the whole Mekong River. So biodiversity is important. Fisheries is very important in the Mekong Delta. Agriculture is extremely important, especially rice production. Vietnam is the second largest rice exporter in the world. So now if there is a dam pushed in the river, it's blocking sediments, and it's not just the quantity of the sediment, it's also the quality of the sediment that's important, and that may change the ecosystem of the Mekong River entirely.
The cumulative impacts of the cascade of the dams could be quite massive. The disaster to the Mekong Delta people, so they share that could be disaster to their lives.
Vietnam's point of view seems to be very clear. We think it is reasonable to call for this 10-year delay for the construction of Xayaburi Dam.
Vietnam fully endorsed the Strategic Environmental Review, a special study on the impact of dams on the future of the Mekong. The review recommended that no more dams should be built for at least 10 years. The two prime ministers from Cambodia and Vietnam held a summit meeting in April 2011 in Phnom Penh. They called on the Lao government to suspend the Xayaburi Dam.
They also said in their statements that they felt that the dams on the Mekong, including Xayaburi, should be put on hold for at least 10 years. The Lao government committed to do a review of the process.
There are too many dams already in Thailand, so they can never build a dam in Thailand anymore. So the big companies like Chor Kan Chang goes to Laos to build big dams.
Even while the decision of the Xayaburi Dam was supposed to be under review by the Lao government, Kan Chang wasted no time in building a road to the dam site. Their message was clear. The international consultations and agreements of the Mekong River Commission were irrelevant.
We have called them that they did not come to the parliament. Chor Kan Chang does not respect the law in Thailand or its obligations to the parliament.
Chor Kan Chang is a construction company. It's a company that's there to make a profit for its shareholders. To my knowledge, it's not a company that's signed up to any principles of corporate social responsibility.
Chor Kan Chang operates without environmental studies, or when they do it very poorly. They don't feel compelled to do a comprehensive one.
And therefore, if they're told they can go ahead and build the dam, they'll go ahead and build the dam. They take the narrow view that we're responsible to our shareholders and we're out there to make a profit, whatever it may cost the river, whatever it may cost other countries along the river, whatever it may cost people who live along the river. Their focus is on their own bottom line. If they can get away with it, they will.
Mounting protests against the Xayaburi Dam prompted the Lao government to hire an international consultant, Poyry Energy, based in Zurich. Poyry, the Lao government, and the Thai dam builder Chor Kan Chang have been closely working together on the Nam Ngun 2 Dam in Laos. The Poyry report on whether the dam complied with the Mekong River Commission guidelines on dams gave a green light to the dam builders. It provided a stamp of approval for the Lao government to launch the Xayaburi Dam. German-trained civil engineer Dr. Jian Hua Meng is WWF advisor on hydropower.
This consultant, this Finnish-Swiss company, has advised the developer, their client, to go ahead in spite of unsolved problems. The compliance report has no credibility with the MRC countries or with the MRC development partners because it was done unilaterally and commissioned to a consultant of the Ministry of Energy and Mines of Laos. This was completely outside the MRC process. It is merely a commercial consultant report done by a company who is looking for contracts.
The dam was launched. Poyry Energy found their contract. They were handsomely rewarded with an 8-year contract to supervise the dam design and the engineering.
The Thai villagers in 8 Mekong provinces in the north and the northeast submit a letter to the Thai environmental minister to urge him to take a position not to buy electricity from the Xayaburi Dam and to halt the power purchase agreement between the Thai utility, the ICAT, and the Chokanchang company.
Thailand will buy 95% of the electricity from the dam. Mekong villagers and NGOs have filed a case in the Thai courts to stop the contract. Poyry, the parent company in Helsinki, is under investigation by a government-backed tribunal.
Poyry gave badly misleading advice. It helped the present government of Laos to push through its devastating plans to dam Mekong at Xayaburi against the 1995 Mekong Agreement.
This is not how corporate, responsible industry players should perform.
The government insists that companies should adhere to Europe's OECD rules of corporate social responsibility, both at home and abroad.
By placing the ambitions of Poyry above the spirit of cooperation of the Mekong Agreement, Poyry has chosen to place also the livelihoods of tens of millions of people in danger. This is unacceptable.
Poyry has denied all these accusations. We would like to stress that Poyry has no conflict of interest in the Xayaburi project. It was natural that we were willing to continue in the project, since this way we can best supervise our recommendations will be implemented. MRC experts found many flaws in the 2011 Poyry report.
Some of them are very, very fundamental. But then, oddly enough, the report recommends to go ahead with building the dam and fixing the problems on the way. You don't get on a plane, for example, while you're still uncertain about how to design it, or whether you're uncertain how to land it.
Poyry assured diplomats the latest technology would provide over 80% mitigation for the fish. But many scientists, like Dr. Meng, dismiss these claims. In Switzerland, fish ladders only deal with a small number of species, whereas the Mekong is teeming with hundreds of different fish.
Building a fish passage based on experiences of Northern Europe, of Switzerland, and transferring them to the Mekong, to a large tropical river, is just not serious business. This is a dam which is so benign, they claim, that it is virtually not there. This is basically nonsense. It's ridiculous. It is a communications sales trick, and it's sand into the eyes of the people who are unexperienced in dams and hydropower issues. And it's basically a honey trail for the political decision makers.
The dam construction has started. In a world of increasing natural disasters, building dams on sites prone to earthquakes is a major concern. The March 24, 2011 earthquake in Myanmar also inflicted damage on northern Thailand and Laos, as Dr. Sapan, a Thai expert on earthquakes, explains.
Yeah, that earthquake was quite a big one for Thailand and people in that region. is recorded as 6.8 on the Richter scale, which is pretty big.
This terrible destruction occurred only a few hundred kilometers from where the Thai company Chor Kan Chang is determined to build a dam.
Even in that area, in Xayaburi area, there were a lot of big earthquakes occur already. Just recently, there's magnitude 6.3 about 4 or 5 years ago near the area. So that indicated that the area was also earthquake prone. So that was a bit of a worry. If the dam was hit by the earthquake bigger than what they have thought, then if the dam collapses, there's going to be a kind of inland tsunami occur in the area.
Dams on the Mekong threaten a man-made disaster that could destroy food security. The threat of earthquakes only adds to the dangers posed by hydropower.
Now, the developer wants all the stakeholders, the people and the governments downstream, to follow him blindly while taking a leap of faith into an uncertain future. And to watch them take a very risky game of roulette based on biased advice. Now, the stakes for 60 million people are just too high for such a gamble. This is just a very, very high risk to go ahead.
If the Xayaburi Dam goes ahead, the giant catfish, already endangered, will soon pass into the realm of the extinct. Many species of migratory fish will die out, and a unique ecosystem is doomed. Can the world allow the gradual killing of the mighty Mekong, dam by dam?
The Mekong River should be a river without dams, a river that would give life and biodiversity. From China down all the way to the sea, there should be no dams at all.
Your fishermen said, more dam will release fish. Local people, they said, well, development project, dam, bring brightness in the eyes, but darkness in the heart. You know, people here, they was born and the Mekong is like blood. Like I said, the Mekong and the river is the principle of life. So if the Mekong destroyed or damaged, I will be sad.
Will the children of the future be asking, where have all the fish gone?